Yeah. It's a big game. Who you know that got it behind the scenes like behind the O-line soon as the QB say hype? It's big game, big game. Analysis from the player's point of view. Injuries, big trades, player news. Yeah, sector competition, and he play with Tony Dungy. Better listen, I'm talking about Big Game Sports Buzz. Said everything you need and more. Yeah. Big Game Sports Buzz. I thought I told you once before. We call him Big Game James. Yeah, Big Game James.
Yo, what is up, everybody in the place to be? Welcome to Big Game Sports Buzz, where fanatics and pro athletes get an opportunity to talk about sports and everything around it. I am Jay Stoggs, and of course, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the Big Game James. What up, Big Game?
Yo, Jay Stoggs, what it do, man? What it do,
man?
Hey, the week off got me amped up. I'm ready to get back on top of everything, man.
Look, I understand, that week off is something else. My week didn't go all that well. You can kind of tell, man, I'm in my, what I like to call my cowboy death march. You know what I'm saying? We got the black hat with the black shades and the black shirt. I'm not counting them all the way out, but it's a little rough right now. It's a little rough to be a Cowboy fan and then to have two losses in the same week. But anyway, man, I'm so glad to see you. Glad in this piece. I'm glad that everybody's coming back. Man, it's been something else. It is. It feels like something was off, man. We haven't. Yeah, okay, I see your funky little hat. And I love the post that you had. Was like, hey, which hat should I wear? Which hat should I wear?
Hey, shout out to my boy Hirsch for hooking it up. He sent me 3 brand new Buccaneer brims. And Jay Stoggs, y'all did
awesome.
or not, he did not really appreciate my text. And I was just like, yo, I don't know which one to wear. I need to pick a hat for the winners. Winners wear hats. Losers pick funerals. And you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Losers pick funerals. You know what? We don't have a lot of time because, of course, those America's team Cowboys will be playing tonight. So I want to make sure that I'm in the house so I can talk to all my Saints fans, you know what I'm saying, down in NOLA and make sure that, we get this dub. Anyway, hey, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this thing. I'm going to take this off because you know what? It's getting kind of hot and I can't see. So let's get to it, man. I'm going to put that right there for safekeeping. There you go. That's how you're supposed to put your cowboy hat down, just in case you didn't know. For those, put it so it doesn't. There we go.
Right.
Hey.
Okay, that's the cowboy up. Yeehaw.
You know what? I got your cowboy up right here. Hey, let's go ahead and let's get into 4 downs where we talk about headlines and things that we want to see and talk about with you. So for 4 downs, the first down that we're going to go into, there's been a lot of movement or some movement in the college football playoffs, right? We're looking at who is up there now. And of course, the selection show will be this Sunday. So we'll really get to see who's doing what. And you have a lot of conference championships that are going on as well. But when we start talking about college football playoffs, the top 4 that are in there, Michigan has leapfrogged into it. You got Cincy, you got Bama, and of course you got Georgia. So now here's the real question. Does it stay that way? And if Michigan gets beat, or let's take it back. If Bama gets beat, should they stay in the top 4? Should they go to the playoffs?
Hey, this is my whole thing, Jay. And I know the college football playoff committee loves having multiple teams from the SEC in the playoffs. That's just the plain honest truth. Yeah. And I was kicking that around earlier today. I said, so, you name the top 4. I'm like, what if Michigan loses? And what if Oklahoma State wins, right? Yeah. And Cincinnati wins, Georgia beats Bama. Does Bama fall out?
Right.
If Michigan loses, does it change? So many different scenarios, but for some reason, I believe, does that 5 or 6 team move up if Bama wins? Now, the thing is, if Georgia loses and Bama wins, they're both going to stay in the playoffs.
Right. I'm down with that. But MJ, sir, how can you say this should stay in if Bama loses? That's a 2-loss team. Here's the problem. I get you, man. Expand the playoffs, but here's the problem. My fear is actually for Cincy because of the fact that Michigan leapfrogged into the number 3 spot, right? They're now in there, right? Got beat by Michigan State. Michigan State suffered another loss, a bad loss at that. But yeah, there has to be some kind of again. I'm fearful for Cincy because I think Cincy is going to be the one that gets knocked out, no matter what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, and the thing is, and it sucks, but you think about it, Jay. Look at their strength of schedule and some of those ugly wins they had. Now, I'm not taking away anything from the Cincinnati Bearcats, but when it comes down to it, when it comes time for them to vote, who's going to bring in the most dollars? Who's going to help bring in the most fans to up the revenue? Because at the end of the day, we all know it's about nothing but money. They can say what they want to say. All about the Benjamins, right? So
that's it.
So they might end up with a team if Alabama loses, that's a 2-loss team. They should go. Yes, I understand that. Yes, I know it. Yes, I believe it. But at the same time, Bama, Cincinnati, when it comes to revenue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you're totally correct. MJ. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like Cincy. You know, we looked at a lot of different teams that, you know, in that other 5 instead of the Power 5. But the problem again is that, you know, to your point, they lost to a higher ranked team, but they're still a 2-loss team, and they lost to A&M. And so there has to be something where you say, look, you've done everything you're supposed to do, and you've made it. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Now I'm going to change gears, but stay in this same first down because the original question was about the college football coaching and the moves that are happening right now. With I love your face because you like, you know what, I'm so not.
It's so funny because so much is going on the coaching carousel that part of my oh hell nah is on this, and Games Xtra Point also touches on a part of this, which is still ties down. We can talk about whatever we need to talk about for the 4 downs because it's just crazy and it's ludicrous, but at the same time, we talked about it being about this. That's what most of the coaching are about, right? Institutions want that high profile coach to help dollars keep coming in. Those high profile coaches are going to those places because of this as well. So we can still expand on it on the down, and it's not going to affect my oh hell nah. It's not going to affect my Extra Point because I'm just going to drop the real on everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just
and that's what we're looking for. But I mean, you know, you got to look at Brian Kelly saying that there's no way they got to pay me $250 million, blah 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 blah. I guess his number went down, and he figured out, you know, 95 to LSU. Now, here's my question, though. Okay, so let's before we even get to that. So you got Lincoln Riley that leaves, Brian Kelly that leaves. A lot of people are speculating on who's next and who's going whoop-de-whoop. You know, they keep wanting to talk to Tomlin about it. They keep wanting to talk to Jimbo Fisher about it. You know,
one second, Jay. I know you got to finish, but this is my whole thing. Taking Mike Tomlin's name out of the equation, that's a slap to me. That's a slap in the face to what Mike Tomlin does and who he is as a coach.
I agree.
We don't have that many black coaches in the NFL. Now you want to take one of the best ones, and he's not just a black coach. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL.
Yes.
You want to take him out of the league, and all of a sudden he needs to go chase a college job. You don't do that to Bill Belichick and all these other guys. Don't do that to Mike Tomlin. And it's not you, but I'm just saying, just the media in general. You know, they got to stop that. Tomlin is an NFL coach. He's not going to take a step backwards to go to an NCAA job. It's not fitting to what he does and who he is as a person or a coach. We need to give that man his flowers. He's a great coach with some bad stuff, but we'll talk about in another segment, right? But we got to stop the nonsense.
Yeah, and I mean it also goes to, you know, they were talking to Cliff Kingsbury about possibly moving down to the college ranks, which is like, wait a minute, he's 9-2 in the NFL and is poised to be the number 1 seed, but you want to talk to this guy about going back down to college?
Right. It's like, wow, like what really? He would be a fool. Now I was a Kingsbury. I was like, this dude can't go coach nobody's pro team. He couldn't even win at Texas Tech. He
Right.
found a way and a formula to win with what he has in Arizona. I got to tip my hat to him. To me, that would be another dumb move right now because he's having success doing good things at that franchise in Arizona. He's not gonna mess. Hey, they gonna kick to me. And also the paper he making, you got to fire me to
Yeah.
get rid of me.
Have you seen this dude's house?
Man, on draft night when
You
they
seen
showed
his
that
house?
thing, it looked like a Hollywood movie. It didn't even look like it was part of the draft. It looked
Boy.
like they were on set at a Hollywood movie.
I mean, I know he's single, but geez, come on. That's a bachelor's pad. He
Right.
pulling in. He pulling in everybody's girl. And it don't even matter like with that kind of spot right there. So yeah, man, it's one of those things where with this right here, my concern is that you have a lot of kids now that are decommitting to a lot of these schools. A lot of Notre Dame kids are decommitting. A lot of kids from OU are decommitting. The transfer portal is busy. I mean, busy. And so the fear also that I have is as a fan is saying, okay, first of all, I don't root for OU. Let me be very clear with that. Never been a Sooners fan. Will never be a Sooners fan. You know, in my opinion, the only thing best about Oklahoma is that sign that says "Welcome to Texas." Like that's the best thing about it, and it's not even in Oklahoma. So, I mean, there you go. I even there's a reason why birds fly upside Oklahoma. There's nothing worth pooping on.
That's rough, bro. I'm gonna let you have that, man. I've been to Choctaw and Windstar a couple times. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Oklahoma, man. I'm gonna let you have all that one.
It is what it is.
You should feel that way. You're a native Texan, man. You're supposed to feel that way.
There's nothing to poop on, man.
With that Red River shoe, it's all good.
Nothing to poop on. Nothing to poop on. So, and I like I said, with the coaching moves, that's just my fear. Let's take it from your perspective. You're a kid, high school. You're about to commit to the school. You verbally committed. Heck, you even signed your name. Now that coach is gone. Do you decommit?
Yeah. It all depends, Jay. If you committed to that university because of that head coach and believed in what he sold you on that recruiting trip and on that in-home visit, then yeah, you decommit. If you had a lifelong dream of going to a certain school and that coach is not going to be there, maybe you stay at that school. But this is my whole thing. Depending on who they bring in, you need to be a part of what that guy does as far as his philosophy, his game calling, what he likes. You may not fit a scheme. So to me, a player still needs to go what fits them best to where they have the best opportunity to play for the amount of years they're in school. You get a lot of kids that go, hey, I'm going to Bama. They don't touch the field for 2 or 3 years and they end up transferring and going into the portal. So to me, if that coach is the reason, and a lot of his reason is because I fit scheme and I fit in well with what he does, then once he leaves, I'm gonna decommit because I'm hoping wherever he goes, I still fit if it's the coach. Now, if it's the institution I'm in love with, if it's the city I'm in love with, if I know a girl that go there, I'm in love with her. Guys, don't ever chase no girl at school, but it happens. Then I'm gonna stay at that school. But for the most part, that's why I feel, if your coach leaves, kids should be able to pull out of that scholarship or that sign in and go. The good thing is these guys have moved on and everything is verbal right now anyway. Signing day, the late signing day hasn't happened. So, they do have the early signing day in football now as well. But for the most part, if that signing day has happened and I sign, I should be able to get out of that. And if it hasn't happened, then it doesn't affect me because I need to go ahead and move on to what's going to fit me best.
And that's my question. And we're going to move on to second down. But that's my question is that most of the kids, when they do commit, don't they usually graduate early? That way they can go into spring ball?
Well, that's normally your top, your top 100 kind of guys. They usually do that. It doesn't happen all the time. So a lot of it just depends on who that kid is. But you do get a lot of kids that try to, graduate early. One of my son's former teammates in high school did it, and he played this year as a true freshman at the University of Miami. He didn't start, but he's playing. He's going to have a great career, I believe, in college. He'll probably have a chance to play on Sundays. But he was so excited to get down there and be a part of that program that he did everything he could to do early graduation and do early enrollment at University of Miami, and it worked out well for him. So to me, if you get on campus early, it's great for you. But at the same time, just talking about what we're talking about as far as coaches leaving and all these moves.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go ahead and make that move that's going to be best for you. Because at the end of the day, they talk about coaches made a business decision, right? These kids now they have name, image, and likeness deals. So now you are your own brand. You are your own business. Make the business decision that's right for you. Because when I played, Lord only knows, I wish I had a name, image, and likeness deal. You know what I'm saying? To be my own brand. Yeah. Now you get to go fight for that school, but you also get a chance to build yourself up. So you got to go to the best, do what's best for you when it comes to building that brand and how you're going to expand and market yourself, man.
Word. I understand that. All right. We can stay there for a while, man. We definitely could. But let's go ahead. Let's move on to second down. And let's stay there. There's a report that came out actually today and kind of yesterday as well, we were talking about coaches, and one coach in particular that won the SWAC Coach of the Year, won Deion Primetime Sanders. And there's rumors, that actually not even rumors. He was actually being considered or interviewed for the TCU job. There's rumors that he might be in the running for the OU job. And so the question is, should he stay? Should he go? And I know we kind of touched on it, but there's a lot of people that are coming out and saying, from the OU side, again, I tell you about Oklahoma, no way, no how, no way, Jose, we shouldn't have him. But the real question again is, should he stay there where he is, continue to build it, or go ahead and try to go for one of these Division I, even a Power 5 school?
Man, this is my whole thing. I don't know what Deion's whole goal is, but I will say this. Having a son that attends a HBCU, having former student athletes that attend HBCUs, and for what he's doing for HBCU football to get the notoriety they've been getting, I love it. And I think it's great. I think that he lets people know that that's an option. Not that it has to be your only option, but at the same time, don't close your mind or don't close doors. Because like I told you before in another show, I was so quick. And in my mind, I thought D1 was the only way for me to go, that I never considered an HBCU, period. I could have gone to a couple to play football, but I closed the door on them fast, right? I think because of the new transfer portal, and kids can come in and play right away. I think it's a good thing. Now, if Deion's, now let's not get it twisted. We know who primetime Neon Deion Sanders is, right? The man can do anything that he wants to do when it comes to what he's doing for a living and a career right now. I don't think Deion Sanders needs coaching. I think he enjoys it, but I think he had a plan and a purpose in mind when he took this Jackson State job.
For sure.
To me, I think if he leaves, it defeats what I think his purpose was, which is to help build up the HBCU branding of not just Jackson State, but for Southern, for Grambling, for FAMU, for Bethune-Cookman, for North Carolina, all these other schools that I think is helped to build up, because we have major networks now featuring these schools on commercials. They're talking about it, and these games are being televised on ESPN. And without Deion Sanders, not saying that it wouldn't have happened, but the steps in the process would have been a whole lot slower.
Well, I mean, Deion definitely helped it forward. Sador, it's a really good point. There's 2 new pro leagues that are cropping up. There are more football pro leagues and D leagues and not D leagues, but pro leagues and semi-pro leagues and arena football teams that are always looking for good players. But when we start talking about HBCUs and being put on prime time, when we look at the year of 2019, 2020, 2021, and what's all been happening in society, it definitely helped to push it forward. Colin Kaepernick, in my opinion, was a part of that. And so, excuse me. And so you definitely have a lot of push for him, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I think he stays there 10-1 in the SWAC, 8-0 in 10-1 HBCU in the play for the league. 8-0 for the SWAC. Stay there, build it up, build it to something. You're going to get TV time. You already know that. You're going to get recruits. If you go somewhere else, and I saw in here, he's waiting for the FSU job. Is that really going to be beneficial for him to coach at FSU?
This is my whole thing. And this is me. And I hate making things a black and white thing. But we also know that minority coaches in NCAA and NFL don't get the same chances of You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Non-minority coaches, correct? If he
Yeah.
does take that leap, and not saying that he can't get it done because MJ said he doesn't coach. The thing is, MJ, most coaches, head coaches, as we know, they're CEOs and they're leaders. They hire great assistant coaches to win games, and Dion has done that because think about it: the games that he was out in the hospital, they didn't miss a beat at all. They still carried on, so he put a good foundation around him. Now, will that work in at a D1 and a Power 5 D1 school for him?
Yeah.
With the staff he has, I don't know. But Prime Time has a mouthpiece on him, y'all. I've met the man. I had several conversations with him before. He can sell an Eskimo ice. He can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe it would work for him. But if he goes into a situation and does not have the success, he's going to get handed walking papers really quick.
But understand this, though. Dion has been in this situation, or at least been with kids and coaching kids for a while. He's the one that I think it's the North-South game, and I know it's the All-American high school game that he coached. He's been coaching that for many years prior to this, so he has definitely the coaching oats, if you will. He has a moxie. He knows what he's doing out there. I feel like he had a school here in Dallas when he was coaching those kids in high school, so he's been in the realm of it. Again, we can stay there. We got to get to third down because we got a big show chock full. So yeah, he knows the game, and I'm telling you, he'll be all right. So third down.
Let's go, baby.
We're gonna switch gears here and switch sports. Is it too early? Is it too early to pick an NBA champ for the year? Is it too early? We're not even in the All-Star break, but I'm looking at teams and I'm saying, I think we can go ahead and start picking who we want in there. Did he coach? Well, you know what, MJ, why are you starting out, man? I mean, for real, did he coach any Cowboys players? You know, if he did, that'd be awesome.
Hey, keep it going, Jay. We can't backtrack, but that was a funny statement from MJ, though. I love it. Hey,
but is it too early?
Yeah, I think it is too early. Now, it's not too early to start looking at sleeper teams, I think, in the East and the West to see who might surprise you a little bit. And one team that I thought about and I had the question I wanted to put up was, will the Golden State Warriors make a great run, right? But also, man, silently, no one's really saying a lot. The Chicago Bulls are in fourth place in the East, not looking very bad at all. Could the Chicago Bulls be a contender? You know what I'm saying? So I think we can look at different teams in the NBA and see what they're doing and who's going to make that run and that push. But to me, it's way too early to start talking championship for anybody. It's too many games. Somebody could, stub a toe and miss some games. Yeah. Somebody had an abdominal strain out in Hollywood and had to go sit on the side and make productions and not actually get on the court and play. And then it's going to mess it up.
Wow. That wasn't a dig against LeBron, was it?
Who? Oh, Lebanon.
Wow.
MJ says
wow.
Can't sleep on the Heat, man.
That's cold.
It's a cold-blooded team. I love Jimmy.
The Heat are nice, but they're not a surprise team. The Heat are not a surprise team after what they did in the bubble.
Who can contend? You know what I'm saying? Who can contend? And who's that team that we might have to talk? We talk about can they be a champion? I think the Heat is a legit team to talk about in that conversation.
But I mean, to your point, Golden State is a juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is a juggernaut. These two teams out of the West.
Can Phoenix finish? I wrote Phoenix down. I feel you because I want Chris Paul to get him one. Shout out to Ron Lamb and his Wake Forest Demon Deacons. We want old Chrissy Paul to get him one. I wanted him to get one last year against those Bucks, and they just came up a little short. I like, what Monty Williams is doing with that team. I like the way they play. Can they get over the hump? I think the West, if Golden State keeps playing like this, and you look at how Phoenix is, and you can't scratch out Utah. They play well in the playoffs. Can they win it in? But I think it's going to be a great playoff. I think it's going to be.
I think it will. Yeah, Phoenix has to stay healthy, but I think the other part of it is that Phoenix has to figure out their big man situation. Like he wilted, he got small in the playoff. He got small in the in the series. I mean, it's like Giannis just took him out of his game, and Middleton took him out of his game. Like, he just wasn't there. So at some point, Phoenix has to figure it out. To me, it's Golden State's to lose. I'm sorry. I know it's early, not an all-star, but until you can tell me otherwise, they're playing pre-KD Golden State ball without Clay. Now you bring Clay in. What are we doing here? You're basically playing for second.
Hey, man, I doubted them boys when the season started. They shut me up early when they ran out to a 9-2 start right off the rip. I was like, I'm gonna sit back.
I was right there with you. And then what did the Bucks do? They went out and they got probably one of the most hated people in the league. And one of the Morris boys. I don't know which one it is. They both trash to me, but I don't care. DeMarcus, Demori, whatever, whichever one it is, I don't care.
We're gonna leave them alone, man. Again, we're gonna have people on the show and they're gonna be like, man, Jay Starks talked about us.
Come see me. You know where I am. Come see me.
They can't be that sensitive, man.
I'm in Texas.
All my exes live in Texas.
They can come see me. I'm in Texas. I'm not gonna tell you where, but I'm in Texas. I'm here. You gotta check every city, every town. I'm in a small town in Texas. All right, let's go ahead and let's hit this fourth down, man. Closing out fourth down, MLB and the owners have decided to lock out the players for the season. Now, here's the thing. Basically, they haven't had a lockout or stoppage in 25 years. Owners, players, they can't figure out what's going on. So this at tonight, actually today, 12:01, or I guess this morning, 12:01, collective bargaining agreement not signed, couldn't figure it out. So at this point, players cannot have contact with any ownership or any teams, and they got to figure it out. So no trades. Young players can't figure out what's wrong with their their pitching and their hitting. So it's really not a good deal for players. But the real question is this going to hurt baseball? Baseball seemed like it was starting to kind of come back. People were getting excited. The Braves won. Even though some people can't name one player on the team that they root for, but we're not hating on that.
You are hating.
Okay. Davis Justice.
Hey, Terry Pendleton. I told him going back. You know what I'm saying? Dale Murphy, fool. Let's go all the way back.
Dale Murphy.
Let's go all the way back. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, you stupid.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Ask that question.
I was going to ask you, Big Game. So now here we are, MLB. As a player, when you're having to negotiate that collective bargaining agreement, and knowing that really at the heart of this is the mid-tier, second and third-tier players are really going to be the ones that are hurting because the cycle that they're going through, they're going to say, hey, after 6 years, we don't have to sign you anymore. We don't have to give you those big contracts. So those second and third-tier players are really kind of the reason why they're not sitting at the table. Go ahead. What's the deal with this?
Hey, man, this is my whole thing. It's never good when things get locked out or if they can't be agreed upon. We never had it when I played in the NFL, but it was always talks about it, and the union always came out, and our union rep, we talked about things. But this is the whole thing. Owners want everything. You know that old saying, you want your cake, you got to have your cake and eat it too. Players want a piece of the pie. Now, everything's cut off. So even if you got anything else going on, people that work at certain facilities, that's not, they can't go in. Nobody. It's crazy the way it trickles downhill, but at the same time, man, you got to get it figured out. And this is my thing. Owners always try to stall out. And to me, like if you had to go through all the major sports on what union works the best, I'm gonna rank the NBA up there number one for always having their players back and really going to work for what they want to get and how the money they get. Yeah. The NFL is horrible because everybody talks a big game. They talk about what we're going to do, talk about we're going to hold out, we're going to make sure we can get this money. And here it is all these years later, and there's still no guaranteed contracts in the NFL. Yeah, you get a little bit more guaranteed money, but they don't hold true to it, right? So the thing is, and I believe Major League Baseball is above the NFL as well, their union is going to really try to hold tight, get what the players want, or they're not going to cave in, you got to believe that it's going to happen. Players got to stand strong for what they believe in. And I think these major league players, like you said, the lower tier guys that don't make the money, it might hurt them. They might miss out on some money if they don't get it together and they start scaling back games. But at the same time, if you don't do it to get what you really want in the long run in the future, you just gonna sell yourself short. And then even those young guys that are hurting, by the time they get to that stature of being that upper echelon player, they're still going to miss out on some of the revenue they could have had if they stay strong. So my whole thing is, if you dead set on what you want, stick together, follow your plan, let your union reps do their job, and good luck to both sides. Well, the hell with the owner side, not good luck to them because them pockets already fat. They don't care. It's a tax. Most of these guys, it's a tax write-off, dude. It's all it is. It's a tax write-off. They don't care.
But I think it does affect everyone involved. Obviously, the players, because they're not going to get paid, but they're not going to get paid during this offseason anyway. So hopefully they got their money management done and all of that. But the other part of it, though, is that when we start talking about the ownership, when we start talking about, we're coming off a pandemic year, look, and revenues are down across the board in every sport. Is this really the time for both sides to say, you know what, we don't want to come to the table. We don't want to talk about this. We don't want to do none of that. So I'm telling you, it's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt MLB just for the fact that even if it's not delayed as far as the regular season, maybe, the spring ball might be, preseason might be, but I think it's going to hurt them because there has to be something. Sports brings people together. They like to come out, and baseball was one of those sports where we can go out to the game. It was probably one of the first ones actually that was allowing full capacity crowds.
You're right. Yeah.
So now I can't go to a game because y'all can't figure it out. So I got to stay in the house and look at, who I'm looking at. I'm going to be upset too.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, it needs to get done. I think it's needed for certain people. I'm not the apple pie all-American baseball kind of guy. I'll go check it out sometime, but at the same time,
and I think that's what it hurts. I think it hurts the casual fan because the casual fan, again, was able to go out, meet with friends, or go out and do things. But now I can't do that as a casual fan or even watch it.
Right.
There's no sense in me doing it. All right. That's been 4 Downs. We really appreciate y'all making all your comments. Even you, MJ. I appreciate you, bro. Even because you're a hater. Like the show, make sure you click on the subscribe and the notification bell. That way, when we come on. And of course, if you like the show, you can hit us up on www.buymeacoffee.com/BigGameJames. Help support the channel and what we do so we can make sure that you get what we're putting out. So this is one of our favorite segments, of course. All of them are, but this really makes us smile. And of course, that is, you ready for you? Lead it up for me?
Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second for me, Jay. I do apologize, man. Got a lot going on right now.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Oh, hell no. 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 Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
That's right, folks. It is our favorite segment. Oh, hell no. Well, we look at things that have happened over the past week, for us 2 weeks, that have happened that makes us say, oh, hell no. Now, I really kind of want to jump in here. I'm gonna get ahead of you, big game, because I'm gonna get ahead of you. This past week, one Tyrik Hill has challenged one Usain Bolt to a race. Now, it's not disclosed how far they're going to run or whatever, but this is what gets me. Okay, that's cool. That doesn't even bother me. It doesn't bother me. Usain Bolt has, lost his step here and there. He's lost some races, but he's still Usain Bolt. Here's what gets me about this. Tyrik Hill has said, this is what I'm going to put up. No. Back it up. He says, hey, you put up one of your gold medals. Usain has a bunch, but you put up one of yours, and I'm going to put up my Super Bowl ring. Now, here's the question. Big Game, how hard is it to get a Super Bowl ring?
It's really hard. They don't
really
just
difficult.
grow on trees. You really don't just go and buy those, right? I mean, you
Really
can buy
difficult.
other people's, but you can't get your own. So for to be ready to put that up is I really don't get that one at all, Jay.
You got one. And why would you want to race Usain Bolt? Like, I mean, I get it. You're fast. You're one of the fastest people in the NFL. But this gentleman here has beat the world's best at running. Like, that's his job. He don't catch a ball. He don't kick a ball. He don't do nothing with a ball. Nothing else. All he does is run. All he do run. That's all he does. But you want to race him?
That's it, dog. Ain't that some craziness?
Tyrik Hill. Hey. Oh, hell no. Stop it.
Oh, man. Now, Jay, you're right, and that's a good one. But let me just say one thing.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot that went on last week, and
it was.
I thought it would only be fitting for me to bring in a little help for this oh hell no moment that we're gonna have right here. Okay, so joining us live from the ATL not too long ago was in the Dallas Cowboys house for last week's game. It's none other than MJ.
What's up, fellas?
Sabotage. The sabotage is in.
What's up, Jay?
What's up, MJ? How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Is it? This is what we're doing?
Hey.
Doing right now, baby. Happy Thanksgiving,
bring it on,
baby.
Hey, you know what? It was the best Thanksgiving Raider Nation ever had.
Bring it on.
The best. Hey, you know what? It was the best.
It wasn't the best.
Yes. Wait, Ron too.
It was see. Yeah, we got your ass today. You can run, but you can't hide. Okay.
Wait, Ron too.
Hey, I'm here too. Goddamn it! You just can't see me because my camera fucked up.
Oh Lord, Jesus.
Hey, I'm here too. Goddamn it! You just can't see me. My bad, Jay. Hey.
That's all right.
Hey,
you know what?
I don't know why my camera messed up, but I'm dressed like a Raider fan too, homeboy.
That's why your camera's messed up, because you're dressed up.
Jay, we took over AT&T Stadium. We renamed it to Al Davis Stadium in remembrance of the greatest owner ever. Okay,
that's horrible. That's horrible.
They wanted to fight us when we was leaving. They wanted to fight us when we were leaving. Okay, because they were sore losers. They were sore losers.
Is that what Raiders do? They fight. Okay, you know, the black hole, they fight wherever they go.
I'm too old to fight. I had to talk them down. Like, bro, I'm 75 years old, man. I can't be fighting.
75 years old.
What am I going to tell my great-grandchildren?
I'm going to turn y'all stuff down there so we get this echo out of the voice. Turn it down to everybody else can actually hear what y'all saying. But, hey,
they're not talking about nothing.
Jay, I'm one of these Raiders fans because, the one thing that the Cowboys had to do, playing on prime time in front of everybody, the most watched game on a Thanksgiving since 1990, all you had to do was handle your business, right? And guess what y'all didn't do? You didn't handle your business. Y'all let the Raiders come into Jerry World and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to bring some help on to let y'all know that y'all did not handle business, and it's an oh hell no.
Oh hell no, Jay.
Oh hell no.
I hope you're proud of yourself, Big Game. I hope you're proud of yourself for this trash that has happened here tonight. I respect Ron and I respect MJ. You know what? This is great. Bring it on, because here's the thing about my team, America's team, and those so-called Raider Nation is that we will be in the playoffs. You will be sitting home. So
y'all
that's
still
okay.
Gotta win.
Hey, after the first week of the
don't even have
playoffs,
to worry
your
about
ass will
winning.
be sitting home with us. You'll be sitting home with us. So what the players got extra $25,000? What? I don't even know what the first round paid,
Extra.
but hey, shit.
Everybody likes extra butter, extra
But
cream,
the fall,
extra soda,
the
extra
fall
ice.
of the
People like extra.
Cowboys will be much further. The fall will
That's
be
right.
much further.
Your expectations
That's
are
okay.
higher. Your expectations are a
You're
lot
right.
higher.
You're right.
You're delusional.
You're right,
You are delusional because
Not
your
delusional.
asses are. You're in the NFC least. Okay, you're going to lose in the first round. And shit, you better win tonight because Washington is on your ass.
Don't worry about it. We
Washington is
still 2
on your
games
ass.
up. Washington can't even figure out their defense on the back end. I'm not worried about Washington. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even worried about them. I'm not worried about the football team because they can't even pick a mascot. So there you go. They put numbers on their helmet. They put numbers on their helmet.
You can't stop the pass.
Don't. It's one person. It's one person. He already knows.
Well, he gonna be. Did y'all replace him?
Okay. Mr. Brown will be okay. You know, they'll stop, throwing PIs on the guy. You can't have 4 PIs. I know, yeah, it's all good. Look, when we're in the playoffs, I'll invite any Raider to my house in Texas. I'm gonna tell you where, but I'll tell you, come down to Texas and we'll figure out a place for all y'all to be in a black hole because that's what y'all like.
Okay. I'm gonna take you up on that. Okay. And don't run and hide. Don't run and hide on the podcast. Okay.
I
don't run and hide on the podcast.
Never do. Never do. Never do.
I'm gonna come and find you. We may not be live like we are right now, but I'm gonna come find you. You know I'm here.
Anywhere. I love it. I love it.
Hey,
I love
Jay,
it.
Since I bombarded you with this hell nah, I'm not gonna talk about my other stuff. But hey, big shout out to my fam and my boy Ron Lamb, MJ Raider Nation for joining the show tonight. They do a good job of helping us promote and publicize what we're doing, and I'm glad that they on here right now, and I'm glad they got much love for the show. So Ron, absolutely. MJ, man, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in, and we're gonna keep this thing going because we don't want to keep him from the Cowgirls dance recital they got with
again. That's okay. You know what? That's all right. Because the Rudders ain't going nowhere.
Saints go whoop that ass.
The Rudders ain't going nowhere. So I ain't even worried about it. I can't call them Raiders. I call them Rudders because it's like a ship going whichever way it wants to. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm so glad MJ came on and Ron came on. It's good.
How'd you like my surprise, man?
I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't. I thought it was crass and it was bullshit. So I'm just gonna say that out loud, but I love it. Thank you.
Hey, big shout out to our boys, Puff Sip and Chat, formerly known as Stickman Podcast. I got my man Reg. Stickman 1 is on here tonight checking us out. So Reg, thank you for tuning in, brother. I appreciate you. And if y'all haven't had a chance to check it out, go to YouTube and tune into Puff Sip and Chat. It is a great podcast.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
So
all right, so we can go
a little bit.
Oh hell no.
Okay. So, oh hell no, it's a big game surprise. That's an oh hell no. I know it is. So, AJ, what we got next?
Ooh, man, let's go ahead. We're gonna have to get through this. All right. So, for our newest segment, we like to do things, change it up here. We have a new segment called Time's Up. This segment, we figure out, is it time for these players, coaches, teams, whatever it may be, their time is up. They got to go. So
yes, sir.
This week, we saw some pitiful play, some really pitiful play. The first one up, what's going on in Seattle in that quarterback, man? Is it time for Wilson to say, I'm ready to go?
Hey,
or
Jay, go ahead. But is it Russell Wilson, or is it the lack of offensive line they put around him to protect him, still a lack of a running game, and the defense is old as hell? I mean, is it, you say Russell Wilson, I say, is it time for Pete Carroll to step it down? And Russell Wilson to go, Seattle just blow the whole thing up.
It's time to blow it up? Something has to happen.
Russell Wilson says all the right things on the surface, but I know he's upset behind the scenes. And I don't think Seattle's done enough to help him after that Super Bowl run. Now, we both know that they were a handoff away from being back-to-back Super Bowl champs, right? And they blew that. and then they never really built on it and never got over it. You just talked about it. Oh, hell no. Tyrik Hill wanted to give up his ring, and they're hard to get. The Chiefs struggling right now, right? They got back the next year. They got beat down by the pewter and red, you know what I'm saying, like they were supposed to. But needless to say, it's tough. And things have been downhill since that Super Bowl loss for the Seattle Seahawks.
I told you.
I mean, he hasn't really done. I think he's a great player, but he has enough pieces to help that team overall. And I think there's going to be big changes from the Seahawks organization once the season is over. I think
it has to be. It has to be. But I mean, you know, he still has Lockett. He still has a pretty decent running back there. The offensive line is horrible though. It's really true. He's running for his life every day.
But he can't block and then run and catch a pass.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's got one or two receivers. He's got a pretty deep, but his offensive line is horrible. All right, moving on. Ben Roethlisberger, what's up? It's time, right? Can we go ahead and say it's time?
Yeah, we said it was time. I know you weren't with me in season 2 or season 1, but I said it. Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger is about 3 years overdue from being released and let go. And definitely this year he shouldn't have been back. And the Steelers didn't do anything to help the quarterback situation except go get Dwayne Haskins. I like to go watch the booty shake in the strip club. He's not ready to come be your team leader.
Don't hate the man for what he likes. Don't hate the man for his likes.
I don't hate him for what he likes, but you can't go have a mediocre game and then be all over social media dropping all your bread between cheeks and a thong, Jay. You can't do it. He's not ready.
Man, hey, everybody copes different. Everybody copes different. So if he like strippers are people too. Yeah, they got bills to pay. I'm just, look, they got college they want to go through. Hey, I support that, man. So I'm just saying, everybody copes different.
You're right. This is not the segment for me to get on Haskins, but this is my whole thing.
Right.
You start to get these questions about Tomlin going to college to be a collegiate coach because the Steelers aren't doing great. And one of the main reasons they're not doing great, one, TJ Watt is hurt. That's a big hit for their defense. But the main part of their offense is struggling is because Ben Roethlisberger should have been done. Tomlin stuck by him. And I don't even think it was Tomlin. I think it had to be ownership. I think Mike Tomlin is a good enough evaluator of talent and what they can and can't do to be like, you know what, we got to move on. They didn't move on. They're struggling now.
Yeah. Cam Newton, is his time up?
This is my whole thing, Jay. Let me ask you this. You saw it week 1. You heard him, I'm back.
I'm back.
And then, they got excited. And the next week, okay, not great, not bad.
No. He should have been screaming, I'm whack, because that's what he was.
QBR rating of 5? A QBR rating of 5 against the Miami Dolphins? Hey, man, as fast as he returned to Carolina, he's going to leave just as quick. And now McCaffrey's out for the rest of the year. They got Hey, man, I wanted Cam to get a job bad, but damn, it's hard to be in his corner after seeing that performance against the Miami Dolphins, dude. I think he is done.
Yeah, his time is up.
Time's up. I ain't gonna say that. He can be a backup somewhere, but he's not gonna come in and just be that savior. And I think
he doesn't want to be. Nah, I wouldn't even want to be a backup because I can't trust him to do nothing.
Yeah, you can.
Hold a clipboard, but I can pay anybody to do that for far cheaper.
You can trust Cam Newton to chart plays. You can.
Can I do that?
You can trust him to chart the plays. That's it. That? You can.
Can he chart a play? Because you know what I didn't see him do in New England? Hold a clipboard. I did not see that.
He didn't.
I've never seen him hold a clipboard anywhere. And I don't foresee him doing that now.
It's modern technology now. A lot of the things are digitally done with the Microsoft Surface and stuff. So
you know what?
He might just be speaking it into the tablet. And he might not be writing it down.
He's not.
I'm not trying to disrespect Cam's accomplishments and what he's done and how good he was at one point in time. But oh God, like I said, and I was pulling for Cam, dude. I really, really was.
It's done, man. It's done. All right. That's going to end it. Do you have any more for time's up. Anyone you looking at?
I really wanted to touch on Russell and
Yeah.
Ben and Cam.
Yeah,
And
I think
that's it, man. I'm glad we worked in this new little segment and everything else. And
sure.
that's a great thing. But it's time for us to keep the party going. As they would say.
Let's keep it moving. And this is one of our next segment, Pretender Contender. So we need to figure out in the NFL right now, as we're starting to get into the final stretch of the season, of the regular season, who actually are pretenders and who are contenders. So what we're going to do here is we already know who's pretty much contenders, right? We can say who that is. Like Tampa Bay that's a contender. We know that. We know, well, who else is there? Green Bay, they're a contender. Arizona is a contender, right, out of that NFC. Yeah, I already know, MJ, you're going to say they pretenders. Whatever. You're a hater, bro. Still, 2 games up. 2 games up. And we got 4 of the last 6 games are against NFC East opponents. So,
Hey, y'all got a favorable layout on that schedule. I don't know how that happened, man.
Whatever, because you know how it happens when you go 3 and whatever we were last year, like 4 and whatever. Like when you have a sorry schedule, you get a schedule like we have. So it is what it is. But I can't even say that it's sorry because hell, we can't beat AFC West. We're 1-4 against them.
Mm-hmm.
So something must be going on.
Hey, well, if we're gonna start it off with the Dallas Cowboys being a contender,
we can go ahead and move on from there. That's a contender.
All right, it's all good. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let you have it. Okay.
No,
that's
look,
it. They contender. We're gonna keep it tight. Ship. They're contenders still.
They're contenders.
The Eagles just lost to Gimme, so yeah, they didn't want to improve their chances of winning the division.
They're done. Yeah, they're done. They're done. Ding fries are done. And I think the question also is, do we think the Rams are contenders or pretenders?
I'm still going. I mean, like I said, they got beat down by Green Bay. It wasn't pretty at all. But at the same time, I think Green Bay has really just showed how much of a contender they really are, and maybe not getting enough talk right now. That defense played really well to slow down that Rams attack. So I think you got to say Green Bay is a contender. I still think the Rams are a contender just because of the division they're in. They won't beat Arizona. Arizona beat them, but I still think they get in the playoffs.
Rams, now remember, Rams are coming off a 3-game losing streak.
It's
3.
Oh, the Tennessee game too. You okay? My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, they're sitting at 7-4. The 49ers on a 3-game winning streak. So
they're not gonna win no division, no dog. Let's stop playing.
I mean, they're 6-5. The Rams are 7-4. So no, they're not going to win the division. But can they leapfrog some people to get into a wild card? That's the real question because now it's expanded.
And they just got one of the running backs back. I guess you're right. But as far as pretender talk, I'm not putting the 49ers in this segment here. I'm about to see what this week looks like. You know what I'm saying? So if we do who you got tonight, then maybe you already know who I'm gonna talk about.
Yeah, we may have to cut that because the boys is about to come on. All right, so that was the NFC. Let's talk about AFC. Pats. They're now atop the AFC East. And I told you, big game, I said, watch out for the Pats. You never count out Bill Belichick. He said, the Bills, they sit atop the AFC East right now.
Yeah, but if the Bills can beat them the next time they play, the Bills are still going to be okay. But at the same time, I'm going to quit talking bad and not believing in Belichick and the one leg up sweatsuit walking to the stadium, old fat man. He gets it done, and they find a way to win, bro. I got to agree with you on that one, that I can't argue that the Patriots are definitely contenders, man.
Yeah, I think they're definitely contenders.
Yeah.
Mac and Cheese is trying to, figure it out, and he's really doing it. The defense is doing that thing. So I think you have to look at the Pats. The Chargers. Pretender or contender? That's a tough one for me.
Pretender. I mean, they can't get it done. They're not finding ways to win. Although, wait, last game they did come back and win on Sunday, didn't they? I'm trying to remember. Last game they played, they had a comeback victory. I believe it was. They were away. They weren't at home. They
Yeah.
were on the road. It was why my brain doing me like that. I just don't believe it right now, though. I just don't know if they can get it done, dude. I really don't.
Yeah,
Don't.
that's going to be a tough one for me. I don't believe in them yet. I think Herbert has a little bit more to prove, as well as the rest of that team. I love Eckler. I think he's a great running back, but I think at the end of the day, you still got to come back to, can they really compete in this conference and even in their division? And I don't think they can. I just don't see it. The Chiefs have now kind of figured it out, at least for now. So, yeah. And I think that's really the last one, the Titans are going to win the AFC South, but are the Colts enough? Can they do enough to be considered a contender?
I think the Colts can sneak up the way they run the ball. And, I'm talking a lot of trash, but Tampa Bay, Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does that last drive, and the defense got turnovers when they needed to really help pull that game out. But a 38-31 contest against what's supposed to be the number one rush defense in the league. But yet y'all still know our secondary is beat up. And they exploited that. They threw the ball. I think they got in their own way, throwing the ball a little too much and lost that game. I still think the Colts, the way they're playing late in the season here, can make a run to win the AFC. What's it? The South. It is so stupid because Indianapolis shouldn't be in the South. Anyway, they can win the South.
Yeah.
And they can. But will they make a push in the AFC playoffs? No, I don't think so. But I think that they can fight and win that division to make the playoffs. Yeah, I think they're playing, and I agree with Ron. I think they're outplaying the Tennessee Titans right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they definitely can come up and definitely be one of those teams that a dark horse, and maybe one of the teams, and I hate to say it because of Carson Wentz, but it may be one of those things where you Colts in the playoffs. You may not want to see that team. All right, that does it for pretender and contender, pretender or contender. We're gonna go ahead and let's jump into. We're gonna skip over who. Let's go ahead and jump into top 5. So here's the deal, folks. You have top 100 lists, you have top 50 lists, you have top 25, even have a top 10. But in a top 5 list, you have to decide who's in and who's out. So for this week, top 5 sports jerseys of all time. I'm going to let you linger on that. Top 5 sports jerseys of all time. And they cannot be, MJ, Raider. It can't be that, okay? You have to pick 5 different ones. 5 different ones.
Wow.
Because I know that's what he would do.
Hey,
I know that's what he would do.
What'd you do today, Jay? Oh wait, I usually go first, huh?
You usually do.
It's all good. I'll go first today. So I tried to do this a little differently. I'm a big football guy, and my wife laughs at me because she says I'm like the uniform police. I always talk about people's uniforms. If I like it, don't like it. But what I decided to do today was dabble with a little bit of most major professional sports. So number 5 for me, I went with the Chicago Blackhawks hockey jersey. I don't know what it is.
Nice.
I think it was Uncle Buck a long time ago when Andy had that Blackhawks jersey on. Yep. I knew not what that team was, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Once I started looking into hockey just a little bit more grown up, I thought the Blackhawks were a great team. They ended up being pretty good for a long time. But that Blackhawks jersey was off the chain to me. I love the Chicago Blackhawks hockey jersey. Number 4 for me, and it's really no particular order since I'm doing different sports. But I'm still putting numbers on it just because that's what Big Game does. I can't help myself. So I'm still putting a number on it. So number 4 for me, the old Tomahawk Chop Atlanta Braves. One of the coldest baseball uniforms to me at all time. Just the way the Braves came across, and then when they're in away, they got the Atlanta, but just the Tomahawk going across the jersey. Man, I think it's just cold-blooded. You gotta love that Tomahawk, man. So I got Atlanta Braves my number 4. Number 3 for me is the Seattle Seahawks Color Rush neon jerseys. I don't know what it was when they came out looking like all highlighters.
Oh my
all
God.
highlighters. I
Oh my
love
God.
it. I'm a big dude and I like bright colors. And I don't need anything brighter to draw attention to me in my size and stature. Yet I own a pair of neon shoes, right? And I own a pair of neon shorts.
Why?
I love those neon jerseys from the Seattle Seahawks.
Why?
Rock those all day, every day. I tried to get my coordinator, my athletic director, to order those for our football team since our mascot's the Seahawks, so we share similar colors. And he said, "Man, you trying to get me fired?" So
Yes, you are.
I
Yes,
could
you
not
are.
do that. So that was number 3 for me, was that that jersey of the Seattle Seahawks. Number 2, the all pewter Tampa Bay Buccaneers that were new this year, introduced this year. And pewter is nothing but a fancy word for gray, but it's something about that all gray and
Shiny gray.
being shiny gray, but it's just
Shiny
different.
brown gray.
But when they come out and they rock that all pewter, man, that's my number 2 joint. I get excited. I love it. Number 1 for me, and I'm a big Atlanta Hawks fan, man. And last year when they did their city edition jerseys and they did the Martin Luther King,
Oh yeah, the black and gold. Yeah. Yeah, that's dope.
number 1. And just the whole tribute to MLK and what he was for the city of Atlanta, and how they came out and they did these uniforms, man. Everything had a meaning on it, as far as like the stripes, even the logo on the floor. They had the hawk with stained glass to pay homage and represent Martin Luther King's church, and just like I said, what it meant. So to me, those MLK jerseys, hand down to me, number 1 in all the sports, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's what I had to go with.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that one. And I'm actually willing to take one of mine off to put that on, because I was like, I don't know. It was one of the ones that I really like. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Cowboys jersey off, because I think that's one of the most iconic jerseys and probably actually the number 1 selling jersey in the world. So I'll take that one off. And so I'm kind of cheating here, but I'm going to put on your ATL so we don't even have to talk about that one, because that is a great one. So I'll take my Cowboys off, even though it's one of the best. But there you go. All right. So for my top 5, man, thank you. Ha ha. Funny. Anyway, for my top 5, I don't do it in any particular order, and I don't even assign numbers to it. So you can choose which number you want to put on there. But hey, for my first one, and look, this goes to my heart because I hate this city, but I love the throwback jersey, and that's the Houston Astros with the multicolored orange. Yo, that's with the H and the star. Ah, man, that's a dope uniform. That jersey right there, that was dope to me. That was nice. I really love that jersey. The next one for me, and you'll actually be happy about this, the Creamsicle Bucks. I like the Creamsicle. I actually like the logo too, with the pirate and the hat and the hair, and he looked like he was moving, but he wasn't moving. I like the Creamsicles. I know people hate them and they lose all the time in them, but I really like the Creamsicles. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just something about them.
Okay, it's okay.
Next for me has to be the throwback Lakers. Look.
Whoa, which one? Hold on. The MPLS, the Minneapolis one, the blue?
Yes, the blue.
That's clean. That's sick. I like it too.
Like those. Yeah. Those are probably one of my favorites. It's something about that one. I really love when the Minneapolis Lakers. That one I really, really enjoy. Now, of course, I have to be a homer. And so for me, my number 1, if I had to, would be the throwback Mavericks jersey. I love the green and the blue. It's just something about that old school lettering that comes across. It says Dallas, and I love the old school logo. It's just something about the throwback Dallas, the original Dallas Mavericks jersey. Those are nice to me. Those are one of the ones I really love. I think it just blends well. The right blue, the right green.
You were doing great till you turned into a homer on that last one.
I told you it was going to be a homer. I told you that. I told you when we started talking about this.
I could have went Golden State Warriors city jersey with the the cable car.
See, there you go.
There you go. I didn't do that, man. And it's all to the good.
No one likes those.
Yes, they do.
No one likes those. No one likes those.
So you're telling me that
no one
Golden State Warriors Throwback. Or even better yet, the 75th edition Warrior jerseys right out of the black with the gold trim.
No one.
Look, the Mavericks jersey looks better than that.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, Mavericks jerseys overall look better than most of the NBA jerseys. Like the gold and white ones, those are fire, bro. And the city one with the blue that meshes into the
only
green,
one I feel like was the gold one, man, with the gold numbers and the white.
I told you it's fire though, but that's okay. But no one outside of Golden State, wherever Golden State is, that's not even a real place. It's like New England. It's not real. It's not real. It's not. I can't find Golden State.
Golden State, dude. It is real.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying though. It's not a city. So why do you put the city if it's about a state? See, this is what I'm talking about, man. This right here shows you folks what kind of education is going on out there on the West Coast. I'm just saying it's not pretty, people. It's not. You call a city a state and a state a city.
From a guy that tried to classify the Bay Area as Southern California. When we had a very special guest on, we're talking about the Bay, and you're trying to associate LA with it. Come on, man, give me a break.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It's not. It's a 6-hour drive apart. Stop it.
All right, folks. Yo, that ends our top 5. Make sure that you comment for your top 5. I always love, and we always love to see what you put up. And of course, we're always looking for suggestions on the next top 5. Again, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the bell to let you know when Big Game Sports Buzz is on, or whenever we do a vlog, because we like to do vlogs as well. Now, it is time, of course, for a great segment, Big Game Extra Point.
Hey, as everything's going on around this college football landscape, I had to take a few minutes out to ask the question, is it fair for us to ever judge these young men for wanting to leave? Earlier in the show, Jay Stoggs and I talked about transferring and if a young man should decommit if a coach decides to leave schools. And I should not even have to answer that question. The better question to me is, what is it going to take for coaches to quit jumping ship and taking off on young men? Because at the end of the day, all these coaches say the same thing. There's no amount of money they can give me for me to leave. I'm dedicated to my university. And as we see, that was bull. You know what I'm saying? They say money talks, bullshit walks, right? And these guys took money and they ran with it, and they couldn't even face the young men in their locker room. Lincoln Riley walked in to have a team meeting to inform his team of what was going on. Once it was already brought to the attention to the team that he was leaving the University of Oklahoma to go to the University of Southern California. Lincoln Riley said to his team, I had to make this decision for my wife and for my family. Former Dallas Cowboys running back Mark Murray said, stop the BS, and called him on it. And Riley started to welt up, almost cry, and left the meeting room. At some point in time, if you're going to be man enough to bail out on the team that you say you love so much and you coach, you have to be man enough to admit that you're leaving to take a better payday, and those kids don't mean as much to you as you said. Because if they did, you wouldn't take the money and leave the kids behind. Now, am I saying Lincoln Riley should not have taken the money that he took to go be one of the highest paid coaches in football? Not saying that at all. But don't lie to the people that look up to you and believe in you. Hold true to what you believe in. Be a man, stick by your word, and then take the payday. I'm Big Game James, and that is my extra point.
Yo, great point, man. Again, you still come with the fire on those. Love them, love them, love them. Yo, once again, thank you for joining us on Big Game Sports Buzz. I'm Jay Soggs. That's Big Game James. Again, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when we're going to put up something, whether it's a show or it's a vlog, it's a take, or whatever it may be. Yo, we appreciate y'all being here. Keep the comments coming. Keep the views going. And, hey, make sure that you are taking care of each other. Yo, peace out. Let's go. Enjoy the game.
Dope. It's a dope groove.
Yeah. big game. Who you know that got it behind the scenes like behind the O-line soon as the QB say hype? It's big game, big game. Analysis from the player's point of view. Injuries,